seen rather some good trading patterns to come out from this champion as well against Illusion earlier today. So it's going to be interesting to see what response will be from the side of Beyond Gaming. It seems like they are prioritizing early AD carry rotations for themselves, and it is going to be the Ezreal champion we've already seen twice or three times already, if I don't remember too wrong. And then these early skirmishing junglers we already talked about, they are coming through from Husha now with the Xin Zhao being locked in.
Yeah, it's his most played across the course of summer. 10 games on it. Collectively, he won 7 of those. And of course, with PSG in your region, you're going to have slightly skewed win-loss ratio on some of these champs. Beyond actually played 12 games against PSG across the course of their summer. So not too surprising that you have lost some of those. There's Bolulu's Ryze. We've seen it before at international competition. One of his most comfortable picks, his ability to get out and around on the map, is so impactful.
Yeah, and then you have Mojito now going on to the Qiyana, so the third time we finally get to see this champion. But Bolulu and Ryze, that is so pivotal as well from Galatasaray, because if you're not able to shut this man down, the priority that he is gaining in the mid lane is what they're playing off as well. It's the fact that he can move, it's the fact that he can play for the jungler, and having this ability is super pivotal. But obviously, there is ways to challenge this. I'm not going to talk about hovers until this is locked in, and that's the reason why, because that is not a Yone, that is Orianna to come through instead.
It's got hard baited by Maoan. Can't believe you do this to me, man. Hadn't played Yone at all, so I guess it's not too surprising that he didn't want to bring it out.
He did get some buffs going into this patch, obviously.
He definitely did, and we've all seen tracking the pros where Yones have been tearing up the rift. Orianna will be locked in though. Works well, of course, with the Xin Zhao. You jump in, Crescent Guard if you want, and then you can use that Shockwave alongside it. Works incredibly well. Moving into the second phase, looks like supports are going to be banned out. I like the Leon ban. That long-range engage potential just stops Doggo from ever being in a position where he can really be caught out.
It's also taken away some comfort from Zergsting. It's also taken away what you match up so nicely with the Misfortune. You already took away the Amumu, now you take away the Leona, so there's no real CC change to come through immediately after as well. But there obviously is still a lot of supports that can do the same. You have the Nautilus as well if you want to lock someone down that can be removed, or else you could just start to prioritize the enemy top laner instead if you feel like that you want to have the support counter pick for your bot lane for Doggo, because as we already talked about, PK has been subbed in here instead, so he can go for a weak side tank instead, and therefore you can just get rid of the Jace and blind pick for yourself.
It is interesting that Beyond decided to sub in PK for this game. It might just be a holistic team composition thing, but Crazy has consistently been a guy you can catch out on the side of Galatasaray, and I would have looked to Liang as the guy to do that. Like, his laning phase is strong, he's a very well coordinated with Husha, whereas PK tends towards the more tank-orientated play.
Yeah, and if you don't know who Crazy is a Korean top laner, has played in the LCK for the likes of BBQ as well in the past, so obviously a laner with some experience, one of his first internationals though, so obviously there is the takeaway you can take away from that if you want to, but going to Beyond Gaming's fourth pick, it is going to be this Braum coming in, and I think it's a really valid pick into Misfortune. You can nullify this bullet time by just tanking it up with your shield all by yourself.
Galatasaray right now need to find a support and a top laner to answer this Beyond composition. Top lane's pick saved for Beyond, so they have counter pick up in that lane. And Galatasaray have a few different options. Bard for Zergsting. Okay, baby. Yes. Oh, man. Zergsting's Bard is something I have watched for a very long time, and I've been saddened every time I see that he doesn't make it to the world stage, because it is so good, it is so well known, it's one of his signature picks. I'm just, yeah, 100% win rate on it across the course of summer. I'm looking forward to this.
And this just screams bot lane priority as well, because now you have double ranged, enemies got Braum, you can try and set up the stun, you can poke them out of the lane immediately in the early game, where you just get the priority to work around your jungler if that's what you want to do. So already expecting Zergsting to get that bot lane priority and move out on the map.
Currently with the Kennen locked in for Crazy in the top lane, it looks like it's going to be a Gnar here for PK. He has been to Worlds before, was on GRX a couple of years ago, but instead it's Jarvan in the top lane. PK will be bringing the standard of Demacia up into that lane.
And this is interesting because we theorized that PK would bring in a tank instead, where you would play towards the bottom side, but when you look at Beyond Gaming's composition right now, all it really screams is that we're gonna leave bot lane alone. They're gonna chill a bit. We'll move up towards the top side and we'll punish the Kennen, because that's why Jarvan is picked into Kennen so frequently. No dashes on this champion, you have to move your speed, but if you do not have flash and you're caught in that cataclysm, you can maelstrom all you want, but it's still super easy to pick up a squishy Kennen.
Crazy. I did say that he could be the focus. He's often caught out in the top lane, often overextends in the early game. It looks like Beyond Gaming have agreed with my assessment. And as we get on into the game, they'll be looking to catch out Crazy. Galatasaray, as you say, have that bot lane prio, but I do wonder how much we're going to see Mojito do on this Qiyana in the early game, because Qiyana is a champion that can go for those early ganks, but is also very happy just scaling up, getting, you know, level 6, level 11, getting that supreme display of talent, and then dominating team fights by just pushing people against the wall. It's
going to be interesting, because it also begs the question that, are we actually deciding to now be more team-oriented with our plays? Because if you have that bot lane priority, if you have Zergsting moving on around the map, able to get mid lane priority, you're able to put dives up towards the top side. You're able to go counter jungle together as a unit. And obviously, when you have a champion like Qiyana, skirmishing in the enemy jungle is your absolute best territory for a fight. So what I would
combo, Crazy could look for the stun underneath the tower. Here's Mojito catching the wave. TP coming in as well from Galatasaray. Counter TP, immediately burnt. They might continue to look for this. There's the root, and already PK has to try and flash away, but he's stunned up, locked down, and Galatasaray with a perfect execution of that dive. Now Maoan is in for a world of hurt underneath this tower. Crazy will die, but it's a double for the Kennen.
But what a nice setup as well from Galatasaray. This is something that we didn't really see all too much in TCL. I'm actually
perhaps able to stop any possibility of Beyond focusing the top lane with a top lane play of their own, and now stalling the game a little bit, getting farm, getting to these first completed items. Mythics on their way across the board, and PK has to be careful. There's the root, supreme display of talent into the slicing maelstrom, and PK doesn't have a moment to react. TP's coming in from Maoan, but you can see Bolulu TPing in himself. Realm Warp's going to chase them down. Maoan does have the shockwave, flashes away, pulls Bolulu back, but where's the rest of the team? Husha is on his way. Rift Herald going down in the top lane as well as Husha comes in. Crescent Guard available. That Rift Herald should charge in and just take down this tower. Flash forward from Husha. Will take one. He's looking for two as Bolulu is able to walk away, and the Rift Herald charges into the turret.
Saver off Beyond, but if you want to fight this, you don't have the mythic items. Right now, there's no Cauldron going your own jungler. They're looking for Bolulu though, no flash.
Bolulu doesn't have flash, as you say. Temper Fate coming out as well. There's a shockwave. Bolulu trying to walk away, but double flash follow. A single flash follow there from PK. Crazy did TP. But he didn't have the Slicing Maelstrom, nor had a flash, so decided just to back away underneath the tower. About a quarter of the way up the river, you'll be able to get towards mid lane. Beyond going to start up the Dragon here. Mojito still on a ward. Because he has the Rift Herald, he can't actually sweep right now. Now he's going to step forward, but he's still on a ward. The Dragon's almost gone. Mojito going in. There's the Temper Fate onto the Dragon.
Oh!
Supreme display of talent onto the backline. Here comes Crazy. Blue team steals the Cloud Drake as the fight really begins. Galatasaray take it. They take the fight. They clean it up. Husha forced down towards the bottom side of it. Mojito will chase him down. It's a 3-for-2 in favor of Galatasaray, and they took the Dragon.
And that is the team fighting we talk about with Galatasaray as well. The fact that Mojito, despite being on Vision, is able to find that supreme display up and then bait your opponents to come into it. So if you get an extended fight around Baron, it may well go wrong from you, and that's why it's so slow. That's why this setup needs to be right. But TP coming in now from the side of Orianna.
PK going in for the fight. Crazy there with the Slicing Maelstrom as well, but the Cataclysm will lock Crazy in spot. This is what they wanted to do in the early game, but they just can't get the damage down. Bolulu once again comes to save his teammate. Temper Fate goes wide, but the rest of Galatasaray are here. Mojito takes one. Maoan, you pop the stopwatch, but you're going to get popped immediately afterwards. Crazy gets his 5th kill of the game, and the chase is on. Realm War behind them. Husha diving in, looking for a live. Bolulu going in on towards the backline, trying to catch out Doggo. Mojito there with the stopwatch. You can see Bolulu just surviving, but Doggo takes the double. And perhaps a little bit too greedy there from Galatasaray.
Yeah, going forward right into Doggo. The one member who's performing on Beyond, and they might not be done yet. Crazy's still very low, doesn't have that Slicing Maelstrom. So let's see, there he goes. But it looks like they're just going to be able to get away from this one with the Bard Portal as well. Doggo not able to fully utilize his pressure.
I don't mind a cloud. Oh, Ezreal jumps in. Mojito could just look for the supreme display of balance as he tries to catch out the Ezreal, but he just doesn't have the damage. The Frozen Heart working overtime, but Crazy flashes in. And in the end, it is Zergsting who takes the kill. All of Beyond tried to dive in and save their AD carry. And Crazy may have gone a little bit too deep here for Galatasaray as the chase is on. Cataclysm coming out as well. No shockwave available. But the bullet time will rip them to pieces. Mojito takes a great bit of positioning there from the Galatasaray jungler.
And with this, they should be able to try and threaten the Baron while the jungler is still alive from Beyond with Husha here. They have 4 members. Bolulu still loads of mana on the Ryze, and he can take down this Baron really fast. So let's see what Beyond Gaming, do they want to threat a possible contest, or are they just forfeiting this one?
Waiting perhaps for the shockwave to be back up. It is now for Maoan.
They're going to be too slow.
Husha going in. You say they'll be too slow. I agree. Passage will be used. It's a magical journey for Galatasaray here. The world's in a magical journey.
But he does have a ton of mana on him. And I wonder with the resets coming through, are they just going to thread it? Yes, they are. It might come down to this Baron started up by Beyond himself.
But Crazy has such a good TP ward here as he's going to come in. Beyond may want to turn this before Crazy can join the fight. Kino stepping forward, Husha there as well. There's the Cataclysm onto Alive. But Mojito goes in with a supreme display of talent. Triple stopwatch popped. Husha going in. Crazy on the backline. That slicing Maelstrom was so beautiful. Sublime team fight from Galatasaray. A clean ace from the TCL.
Despite Zergsting ulting away the targets that was about to be supreme display of talent, Crazy still finds a crazy position to come in with the slicing Maelstrom. And that is just the strength that we have been talking about in Galatasaray. It may be slow, but it's finding these leads in the individuals and then find that final fight towards the late game where you just outplay your opponents with your lead. This is the style of Galatasaray, and they make it work with what I'm quite comfortable to say is an upset against Beyond here.
That was a beautiful final team fight from Galatasaray. The TCL #1 seed will take their first game here at Worlds and perhaps are starting a bit of redemption after Istanbul Wildcats had a disappointing performance at MSI. Beating out the PCS #2 seed is a strong start for Galatasaray.
Especially because a lot of analysts and people in general coming into this one set Beyond Gaming, you know, went toe-to-toe with PSG in the PZS, or PCS rather. So them coming in with a statement game like this and just cleaning away their opposition, that puts them in a really good spot towards that redemption from MSI that you were slightly talking about.
It definitely does. Beyond on the other side, PK got focused
He
in
did.
the early game. Galatasaray with some